Good evening, everyone. This is Don Hoyler. I'm the Vice Chair of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Sri Kartik, our Chairman, is not able to attend tonight. This is the October 10th monthly meeting. The agenda for this meeting has been published and circulated, so I believe we can get started. The initial item is additions or deletions to the agenda. Does anyone have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
We're just going to add in under new business the talking about the mountain biking.
Right. So there's a discussion to be had regarding a mountain bike trail at the Shadows South property. So we'll take that up under new business. Very nice. The minutes from the September 12th meeting have also been published, and everyone should have had a chance to review those. Is everyone prepared to accept those, or are there any comments?
I like the style of it. I really thought the highlighting the action items is great for the committee, so thank you, Don. I know you do that as well, so I like the format.
We need people assigned to action items. That's how they get done.
I don't know. I saw my name assigned to a lot of them. I don't know if I agreed with that.
You were even here. Wait till you're not here.
That's how it works.
All right, so those minutes will be accepted. On to the discussion topics. First up would be the Penfield Trails Committee update, and we usually start with a guided hikes review. I'll let Bob comment, but I don't think we've had one since the last meeting. The last in September. This meeting, September 12th, we had already had our September hike. Right. And our October hike is this coming Saturday, correct?
At Abraham Lincoln Park at 10 o'clock. So encourage anybody listening to join us. And then in November, we'd have our once a year, we do try to do an out-of-town hike, and that will be at
Gosnell Big Woods?
Gosnell Big Woods in Webster. So. Again, at 10 o'clock.
Very nice. Okay, thanks, Bob. We talked last month about the memorial bench for Nels Carmen, a longtime member of the Trails Committee and the Recreation Department and many things to do with Penfield. And we had an action to set a date to host a memorial to dedicate that bench, I believe. Bob, we have
4 o'clock on November 7th, which is Election Day. One of the reasons that date was picked is it's Nell's birthday. So.
Wow.
So 4 o'clock, encourage anybody and everyone to attend.
Okay. No voting booth at the bench?
No.
Okay.
And that's the location of it?
At Shadow Pines. Thank you. Good point. Plan on, going to meet in the parking lot, and then we'll walk over for people who don't know where the bench is, but it's a relatively short walk.
It's on the south side.
On the south side.
Yeah.
Kind of walk past the barn, and it's just past that.
Maybe meet at the Clark House around 4 o'clock. We can have somebody, help walk people over.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay. Next item is the 1,000-acre swamp to Rothfuss Park Trail update. So I can speak to that. The 1,000-acre swamp is a nature conservancy property that abuts the Penfield Rothfuss Park. But there's no connecting trail, and we've talked to the Nature Conservancy, and we've talked to the town board here, and everybody agrees that it would be a good idea to make a connection. And at this point, the town board for Penfield has approved the work on the Penfield side, and so the preserve manager, Allison Agresta, is going to take that proposal to her management and look for getting that scheduled. And the action we took last month was to connect Tim, as the Parks Department lead for Penfield, with Allison. The connection's been made, but there hasn't been any follow-up communication yet.
That is correct.
So, okay. I'll probably reach out to her again. It's been my experience with her that sometimes it takes a couple.
I can even shoot her an email.
Okay. Yeah, just so we can get the. Their fiscal year is July through June, so it would be nice to get this on their agenda for next for the fiscal year starting in July of '24. Penfield Parks update. Matt McCusker is here, an Eagle Scout project presentation. So Matt, if you want to step up, I think we have a nice chair for you right there.
Matt, you can talk right into that microphone. Just let me know and I'll click over to the slide.
Hello, I'm Matt McCusker. I'm an Eagle Scout candidate from Troop 312, and I'd like to begin by thanking everyone for letting me present tonight. When I started thinking about my project, I wanted to do something that would benefit the Penfield Nordic ski team. This is something I'm active in and wanted to advertise within the community. I originally wanted to build it at the corner of the park, but after seeing the town's plans for pickleball courts, I decided to move it somewhere that would benefit the community as well as the team. It is important to me that my project is independently sustainable and helps advertise healthy living within the community. For my project, I've built a covered bench kiosk for Nordic skiers as well as park users at Shadow Pines Park. It can be used for a multitude of services, including disc golf, skiing, trail walking, and more. It is located adjacent to the Clark House on the old golf cart path. I wanted to design something that would provide people with a place to sit, but also be able to use the back pegs to lean stuff between like skis or hang other items on. I did some research with my dad, and we worked together on the design. I could not have done this without the help of my fellow scouts, Mr. Masterton, Mr. Erkfitz, and especially through the kind donations provided by Laird Plastics, the Home Depot, the Town of Penfield, as well as the cash donations I received from friends and family. This build included a total of 8 scouts with 4 adult supervisors and volunteers and stretched over about 3 days. We started with the foundations. One of the adult leaders in my troop was able to use a skid steer to help with the post holes, saving us a lot of time. After that, we put the posts in the holes and leveled them out to put concrete in them, securing the position. During the building process, we started by building the main concepts onto the existing posts. We broke into 2 main groups working on the roof and the bench. A few days later, we came back with a smaller group and installed the information board on the front. Here are some pictures of the building process and the completed project. And that's the final result. I'd like to thank you for the committee for allowing me this opportunity. Are there any questions?
It looks fabulous. Yeah, well done. How did you hold up budget-wise? Were you able to hold to your budget?
Yeah.
Excellent.
They did very well with the budget. I've been taking my family over there to walk Shadow Pines, and I've already seen people just stopping there and sitting there on your bench already. So it's in use. It's definitely in use.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well done, Matt. Thanks for
Good job.
Great work.
Yeah, so as much as you say thank you to us, I shouldn't just say just you because your brother was in here not so long ago. So thank you to you and your family and the scout troops for 2 huge projects, the bridge as well as this adding to Shadow Pines for the Nordic skiing coming up. Not that we're praying for a lot of snow, but awesome job.
Yeah, great.
And then if there's a plaque or something specific you want to be put into that or information, we can always talk about that stuff too and work that out. I know the Trails Committee always is looking to update the maps and things like that, so we can turn to you first to see what you want to put into it and work together as a team. So thank you. Great job.
Do you have any more brothers? We have other projects.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, back to the agenda. So next up, Channing Philbrook Park Trail Bridge update. And really, I think there's 2 topics here. What's listed on the agenda is the connection to Spring Lake Park in Parrington. Right, so Parrington's Crescent Trail currently runs to, in Spring Lake Park, and they are working, the town of Parrington is to extend that to the Penfield line, or basically to where Channing Philbrook Park ends currently. And I know that work was in process last time I hiked there about a month ago. Is there?
Yeah, I reached out to Parrington just because we were looking as a group and as a town for the bridges, so we were kind of thinking of maybe a seamless transition, not knowing their scope of the project and how long it was going to take, but they're actually planning on wrapping up this project October, November, so this month or next month. They're planning on having a formal ribbon cutting. I believe the town of Penfield, we plan on being there just to discuss, having these link up together and then talk about our future plans as well for adding to that connection. But yeah, it should be nice. I've seen the work so far, and looks like they're moving a lot of dirt and putting a nice path down there.
Are they bringing it all the way to the existing Channing Philbrick Park?
I haven't seen that it's gotten that far, but I know that
That's their plan, though?
I believe that the plan would be to connect it. Yeah.
At the Trails Committee meeting last week, someone said that they'd been on it, and it seemed to be all,
Oh, already connected?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's great.
I've not been down.
Yeah, I know they're looking to wrap up at the end of this month or next month, so yeah, that'll be nice.
Excellent.
And as far as the bridge update, we're waiting to hear back from a contractor to talk about different kind of railings and spacing in between the railings. I know Candace had a couple questions about that, and so we're waiting to hear about options for them. So it's not just like, the handrails and wide open. We're looking for options to protect people from falling through, that kind of thing.
When do you think that project might get done?
Our end? Well, we'd have to go out to bid, and so it's the whole bid process, that kind of thing. I would hope best laid plans try to do it before January 1st. Out to bid before January 1st, I'm hoping.
But then,
And then it would take, I don't know how many months to get it done.
I'm not sure doing it in the spring may not be possible with the way the creek flows, right?
Correct, and then there's DEC options hurdles that we have to go through, but as far as pricing wise, it's cheaper to go in the spring, summertime than the winter time, talking with the contractor.
So, but it's a 2024 project, is the...
Correct.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, I think that's it for parks. Anyone?
Just one little thing, we've been super busy doing a lot of stuff. Just two big projects that I want to highlight is we planted new trees in the front of Shadow Pines, the north half along Atlantic. We got a grant for that. Sarah Waterman, she works for the town. She applied for the grant, and she's actually on the homepage of our website as our Spotlight staff employee. So
Who issued the grant? State, or, do you know?
I can't remember. It was through an organization it was about $5,000 for that kind of thing. So,
How many trees did you put? Was it like 50 trees or something?
no, we put about 24.
Okay.
Yeah, tried to space them out and even them enough. But
Yeah.
maples and oaks, different varieties. So hopefully there's not one species that comes through and decimates them all like the ash borer. So we tried to pick out different ones. And then the other project the Parks Department did was the front of the town hall. We took out the old flower beds, a couple old bushes and stuff like that. We poured stamped concrete around the flagpole. Our director, Eric Tate, helped us out with that, and it looks awesome. So if you got on your guys' way out, just take a look at the flagpole. So less maintenance and better, cleaner look. So
Thank you.
The trees look really good. They're not just little saplings either. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we
They're nice
typically,
trees.
typically we try to do either like 2-inch to 2.5-inch caliber, better survival rate on that end. We
Right.
put the water bags on there. We put plastic guards around the trunk, so because there's a lot of deer over there at Shadow Pines, and they love rubbing against them. So, yeah, we try to stay away from saplings just because of the success rate.
And did you put in trees at Sherwood?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did put in those trees at Sherwood, the 4 trees along I call it the last third of Sherwood.
Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Good update. Okay, moving on to the rec department update. Andrew, would you want to talk about?
Yeah. So we're currently obviously in the fall season, and we've seen increased enrollment in all of our programs, which we're excited about so far for this season. And concluding for our September revenue report, we just hit the $750,000 mark for revenue. We're way over where we were last year just as a total. So again, more programming, more enrollment. Really, our biggest thing is just finding places to have our programs, whether it's in our community center facility, or just trying to reach out and work with other organizations that either have their own facility, but one of the trends that we've done kind of since COVID is moving a lot of our programs to either the Dolomite Lodge or Harris Whalen Lodge. Obviously, we open up the lodge for renters in December and January, so we try not to book it up too much in the winter, spring, but looking towards the fall season in the summer, we try to look during the weekdays after X amount of people have tried to register for it. We use up a lot of that program space where it would just be empty facility space. So I think our numbers for our revenue really show those opportunities that we've gotten through the rec department to find some different places where we can hold our programs events. We also have been using a lot more parks, some open shelters, and the amphitheater right behind us as well. We do musical programs. We even do some outdoor yoga and things like that. So again, just looking for different ways and opportunities and places that we can have programs for the community. Looking ahead, as crazy as it sounds, we're in October. We're already getting close to planning our winter and spring 2024 programming and brochure. Our winter and spring season runs all the way from January until the end of May. So just as a reminder, this brochure will be concluded and finalized in the upcoming weeks and will be in mailboxes by mid-November, and registration for Penfield residents should be the first week in December. One of the crazy things that we're also talking about, which is nuts, we're talking about May of 2024, but just as a reminder, in this brochure, we do have our youth soccer program and our summer camp, two very, very popular programs where we have seen in years past it filling up within the first week or 2 weeks of enrollment in December. So just putting it out there, we're trying our best to increase enrollment numbers for that. We're also looking to add an extra week of summer camp based on staffing that we talked to this year, seeing if they'd be open from an extra week. So typically we do 6 weeks at the community center and at another location. This year we're looking to do 7 weeks and then an 8th week at the community center alone. So again, some extra time based on staffing. Obviously our expenses would go up paying for staff and things like that for the camp, but all in all, I think it's an opportunity for the community. We've seen this need coming out of COVID for summer camp and other programs as well, just looking at what we can do to expand our things based on facility space and other stuff. For upcoming events, we have our family Halloween event that's going to take place on Friday, October 20th, and that's at the community center. It starts at 5:30, and usually we try to wrap it up around 7:30 and 8. We have a bunch of different things. We have hay rides, arts and crafts. The library is involved, and they do a cool arts and craft. We do a trick-or-treat street outside, weather pending, music, games in the gymnasium, just a wonderful event, and everything that is there is free to the community. I will say it's more family-oriented for kids and adults and things like that, but obviously anybody can show up and participate. For another event, this isn't directly done by the Recreation Department, but the Department of Public Works. They're having a facility walkthrough and an equipment show. It's actually this Saturday, October 14th, and it runs from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So for the younger kids and maybe even for some adults, if you want to go and check out some of the large equipment that the town uses, they're giving tours of the equipment, but also they're giving facility tours of our current DPW building, which I know is a topic as we're looking as a town just to see what to do with a building like that in the future. So if you've never been inside of our Department of Public Works and you're interested about learning more, I highly recommend going there this Saturday. I believe they're starting tours and doing them every half an hour or hour and giving details, but obviously if you just want to come out and have the kids go on the trucks, that's also a fun event as well. So again, this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at our DPW facility. The Penfield Big Band continues their monthly performances on the first Tuesday of each month. They restarted in September. We've already had the October one, so the next one would be the first Tuesday in November, and that starts at 7:30 p.m. at the Community Center. And then our Penfield Pops Community Band has restarted in September with the rehearsals, and they're now looking to potentially have some upcoming performances at the high school, and we'll post all of that on the website and social media. But restarting, it's nice to have that community band back in the community. And then finally, I know this is later for letter E in our discussion, but I'll just mention it now. For our Parks and Rec Master Plan Committee, I know I say this every meeting now, but we are finally going to start to have our meetings in November. Just looking at scheduling, we're looking to do them on Wednesday every 1 to 2 to 3 weeks, just based on our schedule. We're happy to say that we are going to be gathering a little bit more information about our current community center and what a potential new community center would look like. Again, it's all data gathering for our master plan. Our previous master plans have basically just said that the community is interested in a master plan. I think this focus is just to look at, hey, if that is an option, what would the numbers look like? In no way is it saying that we're doing it. It's mainly just some, I think, good raw data to put out there as we look at other towns that have gone that route. And I do think that there's a need in the community, but of course it's always good to have some numbers backing that up, showing what it could be in this kind of environment. So that'll be one component of the master plan, as well as other parts as well.
Are you still looking for a liaison from the advisory board?
I have had a couple people already reach out, and I know I've talked to them, so we're all set.
Okay.
If you are still interested in being a part of it, feel free to reach out to me, phone, stop in, or email, because all are welcome. The more input, the better. But the group was approved in the September town board meeting of the core people that I had heard from before. I had just worked out the facility component, getting that consultant in just to drill down to some numbers. So hopefully all of that's approved. We're going to start in November, but I'll be reaching out to everybody who is interested.
Good.
And we're hoping for that master plan to be confirmed somewhere in the spring of 2024. And that's it for me.
So you talked about having to be creative with space, given the enrollment, and then you talked about the DPW building, right? Is there a way to use space there somehow once the new one is built, or anything like that? Or?
I don't think that's the plan. I think, and Tim can speak to this a little bit more, I can only speak to what I've heard about and seen personally, but I think the current DPW facility, the reason we're building a new one is because the current one is not suitable for needs of having the public, certainly staff in there, but not, we wouldn't want to have the public in there.
The phasing goes, we would build the new DPW building next to it where the sand barn, the salt barn, and the pole barn is. We tear those down first, build the new one, and then level the old one, and then build pole barn, salt barn, sand barn on the existing property.
Good thought, yeah. Believe me, we've
Exhausted a lot of options.
If there's tiny rooms somewhere in Penfield that we can try to get programs in, we've tried, but, you know, we appreciate the thought, so.
Fair enough.
Keep throwing ideas my way, or our way, I should say.
All right. Very good. Clark Road Barn Committee update. Sri's our liaison to that board. I didn't get any information from her. There was a meeting.
Do you want to speak to it?
I know
Tim and I both attended the meeting.
Yeah, there's no real update. We're still working on the rubrics. We're still working on the language on different things like that. We did have some information from a building moving company about what rough numbers on what it would take to move the building to a different part of the property or adjacent, or jacking it up, fixing the flooring, roofing, that kind of thing. I know it's all in the Clark Barn advisory. It should be online. The numbers are escaping me right now, numbers-wise, like how much it would cost, but it's all.
There was a lot of numbers.
There was a lot of numbers, so
Okay.
if anybody's interested, just go on the town website and look up that meeting.
Yeah, a lot of it was, what have other groups done? Obviously, I think the ones that they showed, I think we're in the rare occurrence where the municipality owns the barn and is looking to do something with it, where from the sounds of it, it's mostly private groups trying to either purchase something to move it or something like that, just to tax credits and things like that they would get. A municipality can't apply for those tax credits, so it's really one of those odd situations where you can't really relate to the other ones. But it was interesting to kind of hear what the numbers were, and I don't know them off the top of my head, what it would be to move it, what it would be to tear it down and put it somewhere else.
And just the timeline alone to get this process started between a lot of these other barns, it was like a 7-year process between getting funding, moving it, restoration, completion.
Wow.
Just a long time.
I think we're at a lot of numbers, digest phase, and then go back to the rubric and start to put those pieces together
Another
at some
next
point.
meeting scheduled, probably?
November sometime.
Yeah, I think we'll
And
be
that's
able
just
to-
usually based on the freeness of this room.
Yeah.
No hard date on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next was the master plan, and Andrew already spoke to that. So I think that covers our discussion topics, unless anyone has anything else.
Is there an update on the pickleball stuff at Shadow Pines? I don't even know where we are with that. Are we
So
doing
that's-
it?
That's been at the town board level, and I know that has been well documented and put out there for multiple plans.
Yeah.
It hasn't come down to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
I just didn't know if any decisions have been made, or if it's still in the,
I don't believe,
So on the front of the Penfield Town site, Debbie put an update recently. So it has not been put out to bid, the revamped plan, but I think people are in agreement with the revamped plan. And probably the next town board meeting, they'll talk about approving that to go out to bid.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
yeah, and I do know, not to speak to the plan, but I know you mentioned at the last meeting that there's stakes out there showing, what part of Shadow Pines property off of Whalen Road on the east side. They just did a mow down just to get a lot of the brush down for that, so it's a little bit easier to see now. Last month you might not have been able to see the stakes just with a lot of the growth there, but if you go past there now, it's pretty obvious to see kind of just what the scope of what the area they're looking at. So, and it's not just pickleball courts as well. I'm always the person saying, hey, there's bathrooms. And as someone who coordinates a lot of the cross-country meets and the potential skiing coming up, and we've got fundraiser walks and disc golf, we have 2 portable restrooms there. The importance to have functional bathrooms there, I think, is key. So that's another part of this project that's big as well, not just the pickleball. I know the focus is pickleball, but it is adding to that property as well, having those kind of amenities for the public. And a playground as well. Throw that in.
Good update. Other business? None. Held business, maybe we'll just step through action items from the last meeting. The one that you listed here, Andrew, had to do with the easements. I know you were going to.
Yep, I started the conversation. I don't have any more news to report. It is being looked into by the town engineer and the town planner. I don't know, I don't have a date of when I'm getting that stuff back, but I at least posed the question that we had. I do know a lot of the other action items that were in there. I believe most of them were addressed in previous stuff that we've talked about from the last minutes as well.
Yeah, and I won't go through all of them, but, so 2 of them were on the Trails Committee regarding the schedule for next year, right? And also one just on how to better define or present the starting point, right, for the Ellison Park hike. When is that input due? The end of October to make it into the winter,
Yep.
spring brochure?
So like I said, we're only a couple weeks away from finalizing the brochure, so I'd even say probably within the next week.
Right.
I
And
know
at the meeting-
Joel reported from the rec department that you guys were talking about at your last meeting, so.
yeah. We finalized the schedule. We wanted just to review the wording to make sure that.
Sure.
Because we had issues with the Ellison Park hike, where to start. We want to make sure we get those.
I'd say by the end of this week, next week, if you send it to us, barring any major changes, that would be great.
Okay.
At least the the first 5 or 6 hikes, just to make sure that those up until June get into the brochure. For
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, part of the confusion was there's one section where it lists all the town parks, and they had the entrance listed on Blossom Road, and then the trails,
Yeah.
the hike listed it on Old Penfield
And that's
Road.
something we've talked about before, where I think we were changing the wording a lot based on the guided hike, when that information is mainly for just general information
Yeah.
for those parks, not necessarily where the hikes meet. But we could start
know.
to put those together just so it's not
We
confusing.
understand that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Old business, I don't have any old business. So new business, mountain bike proposal. So just the intro to that, the south side of the Shadow Pines property, there's some nice hilly areas, and there's been talk of adding mountain bike, kind of sort of a starter. It's not a big space by mountain bike standards, but it could be a nice space. And I'm not sure who took the initiative, but we have now received a proposal, right? So I don't know if somebody wants to talk a little bit about what that is and what the next steps would be.
You want to take it over, Ben?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
give us a start.
Ben was a great liaison for the Parks and
yeah.
Rec that we had on.
So we got a proposal from Further Trail Services, and the proposal is really to plan it. It's not breaking ground. It's to look at it from afar, dial in what we want to do, get all the stakeholders involved, and really plan it so it has a good foundation instead of just going in there with shovels and throwing trails in there. So, and that's really what the proposal is. And the proposal really follows it's pretty classic project management where you get the stakeholders together, then you do your research and draw some maps and get the GIS data all together and come up with a plan that everyone agrees with and then go from there. The mountain biking in Shadow Pines was really thrown out there from the beginning. It was part of the conceptual master plan that was approved in 2020. And that area specifically was kind of colored in on the map for that. So this proposal is really the next step. It's really to do it the right way as opposed to just throwing some trails in there.
So what's the next step at this point? We have that proposal.
So the next step would be, I think, if we're all in agreement, I know we're, as part of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, we're like a mini shareholder group because we were picked from the public. That kind of thing, just giving our okay to go forward with this plan, to go forward with this proposal. So if there's any questions or any, I know we sent these out, I don't know a couple weeks ago I sent these out to everybody. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look at it. Like Ben said, it's just an overview of how we're going to get things started. So.
And I think it's important, too, to remember that, kind of like what Ben was saying, too, this is just the starting point. This is to make sure once it starts, we're having people come in, doing it the right way, getting those done. It doesn't mean that is the end of the trails that are going. We hope to have partnerships. Grok is one that's reached out that we're looking to involve in this stuff. But just because I think right now it says around 3 miles of trail, it doesn't mean that those are the only trails that are going to be in there. These are just the starting point that we can go off from and then create channels and things like that and expand on in the future.
I assume Grok is one of the stakeholders?
Yeah, I think they're going to be one of the main ones. Ben mentioned it being in the concept plan for Shadow Pines. They were one of the groups from the get-go that were there presenting. So I definitely think they're going to be heavily involved, working with the town and the Parks Department and this group too on some of those once we get into more details.
So, I just got back from a trip, but I looked it over today. I have a few questions. We just do it with email?
So yeah, you can state them here today. We'll write them down, we'll review it, and then we can send it over to either we'll review them, we'll send them over to that Adam, who is the owner of the Further Trails that came up with this proposal.
Okay. I didn't write them down, so
You can email them and
I
we
mean,
can
I
send
feel
them
like,
as well.
Yes.
did we give them any constraints? You know, did we?
When,
It seemed like it seemed like a very open-ended proposal that I worry about scope creep and things that project managers worry about. And so I
Yeah,
mean,
I think this was just, again, the initial part, just to get it started. We're not into the detail phase or anything like
Yeah.
that, looking at it. It's just the proposal to say, hey, this would be those steps. And kind of like what Ben said too, step one would be get the stakeholders involved, have those sort of discussions. So I don't think the details are anytime soon, at least in 2023. I think 2024 is probably more of a
Do we have-
timeline to start getting into actual designing.
do we have the funding available to pay them to do this?
so this concept plan is funded by Rick Williams, and he was part of that meeting that we had with the supervisor and stuff like that. So as of right now, just this planning aspect is paid for by him.
He's made donations and done things in the past, big into trails, committee into biking and things like that, assisted on a lot of the projects that we've had around that kind of stuff.
Okay, so this company, FTS, to execute the proposal that we have in front of us, that's funded?
Yes.
Okay, good answer.
Helps.
Sure does.
But yeah, as the project moves forward to, being that we're all in agreement, obviously that stuff would come to the board. Maybe we can have Ben and Tim be the kind of leads to have those discussions when they need to have. But yeah, I think it'll be nice moving forward.
Any other new business anyone has? All right. No public feedback. The next meeting is the first Tuesday, or second Tuesday in November, which is November 14th at 6 PM here. Seeing nothing further, adjourned at, 6:37.
Awesome.